Right, so we just finished this bit, and you should start modeling this into your project. So you should see something not unlike here. There probably are a few corrections that I need to make, and I can do some of that kind of right in front of you. You might have noticed that this didn't quite end in the proper way. So pulling this line back, pulling this line back to the 3D view. Yeah. Okay, so now you might see a door. I'll take care of that later. And obviously you don't see stairs. That'll be later, later project or a later video. Okay, so you want to start to create your other curtain wall systems. This is, as in your plan it shows, this is a C2. And what I've done is in your supplements, just going to bring up that C2. You should see an image like this. All right, so on the left, it's going to have the properties, so you can kind of see if it has an offset, where it began or ended, and then any of those offsets. And then you also see, once you get into the edit type, you see kind of how it was constructed and what the different mullions are. Okay. This is actually incorrect. I'll be updating that. I should be showing you that here in a second. So in here, I'm not going to worry about creating these ventilation pieces. I think it's just going to be a solid panel. So you will have to kind of, once you've created it, go in and tab through and unpin this panel and put in a solid panel or a panel of your choice that's solid. And you have to do that kind of in each piece. What you can, let's see, I think you can select all panels in the horizontal or vertical, so you can kind of do it all in one fell swoop. Okay, but you might also notice that there are mullions here, but not there. So what you're gonna have to do is just go in, hit that, and delete them. Easy enough to do, just a little editing. If ever you need to get them back, you would just go under here, go to mullion, and then make sure you have the right one selected and just click and they'll come back. All right, but we need to get rid of these as well. Getting pretty close. You might also note that I want to change this count maybe to be something different. I'm not really concerned about getting this kind of absolutely one-to-one between the two, but if I did want to do that, I might allow it to be fixed number. And then over here, I could start to shift this to be something slightly different. It's actually pretty close. Looks like I was just trying to see if I can get it to be, that mullion to move over to the other side, but I'm going to call this a win. And you might also notice that there's some translucent panels. Therefore, you'll see a DA translucent. You'll need to go in here and create a translucent glass piece. which is pretty easy. We just want to copy the glass, and then we want to give it a tint. And actually, I think there is already a translucent glass, so you should be able to use that one. You just might want to give it a tint that you are looking for this. So here, oh, it's not actually white. It's more of a kind of a fish color. And if you want to show up as far as shaded, you'd want to change it here. Either go to render appearance or change the color here to match kind of what you were using. So one of those two things, and then apply, okay, and then you see it kind of where it's being utilized. So we'll just kind of go down and kind of tweak the model as needed. Something like that looks pretty good. Again, getting rid of certain things doesn't show up. Oh, actually, that one shows up. I'm going to keep that right there. Okay. Other things that you want to note. I've thrown in a few other wall types that don't have tagging. The curtain wall thin grill. That's this one up here. So you see those up there. Don't worry about this anomaly. We're just going to treat this one just like any of these other floors. So that you'll see how that's made. So I'm going to show you right now because I think it's a little different than anything we've done. So I've created so you'll want to create this wall type, not only the basic wall type here, and place it in that on the second level as an infill. So you should have that information in your supplements. And then you're going to want to create this grill, this thick, the thick grill. So follow along and create these rectangular mullions. Place them in as I have here. So once you do that, we're going to basically put a wall inside of another wall. And for curtain walls, the only way that you can do it, the default is to not have this automatically embed on. Okay? So when you go and do this, I'll be on level 2. I'll go over to that part. I'm going to grab the wall. I'm going to make sure I have my heavy grill on, and then I'm going to click on the beginning and end point. It looks like it showed up all right. Now I'm going to go into the 3D view, and I'm going to see what it has. All right, so now I just need to change a few things. Go -3.6. That looks good. And I'm going to go +3.6 inches. And then that should be good to go. If you have any trouble placing that in, like if this doesn't work, you may need to click this automatically embed. I think actually you do. So I think that wasn't clicked before and now it is. So that's the only reason it took. So let me do that again, just to show you what will happen if you don't have that. Okay. And we'll turn that off. drill. Make sure you have the right one. Click, click. Gave me a warning. Let's go see what it looks like. So you can see that if it's not automatically embedding, what it does is it puts it there, but you don't get rid of the other one. So it's kind of two walls right intersecting. So now we can just turn that back on. Shows up. We'll go ahead and tweak these. -3.6, 3'6". What I'm doing to get the 3'6" is I'm going 3 spacebar 6. That space will mean it's shifting from feet to inches as far as Revit's concerned. Okay, now this is cool. If you can just manage to tab through and highlight both and hold control. So I've tabbed through and got to both the wall I'm on and then this the grill. I'm selecting both, and I'm going to do it over here. I'm holding down the control key, getting that and getting this. I'm just going to do a Control C, copy, and I'm going to paste selected layers. Oh, I don't need 5, but I need 3 and 4, and voila. So that part's done. All right, so on and so forth. You want to start to kind of make sure you're creating. Here I can see why I wanted white to be translucent, because it's kind of a white as opposed to the blue color, but I think we're going to be just fine. As you guys get into the design project, maybe you change those out. Not sure why that came into play up here, so there's a little bit of fixing I've got to do. I won't bother you with that. Interesting. I wanted to talk a little bit about this piece right here. That is this chunk. If we zoom in, we can kind of see it does have some depth. And this is another case where if I modeled it, which you might have a tendency to do, it's going to really slow down the project. So we shouldn't do that. So this is going to be very similar to how we created that grid in the video before this. You're going to essentially, we won't create a panel inside of a panel. That's really not necessary. But instead of making a bunch of horizontals, we actually aren't using any grid. So this is kind of not needed. Do need the border. Stand corrected. I'm just going to edit this one more time. Now we need to look at the panel that's using. So this is called horizontal grid. So let's go down here to curtain wall panels, find the horizontal grid, and what you're going to find is that just like we did with the grid, we created a new material called horizontal, based it on this one, created a whole new pattern that's again copying this parallel that was 6 inches and changing it to 8, both here on the title, but also here within the spacing. And the way you get to that, remember, is go to model, not drafting, but model, so that it's actually accurate. And then on the appearance, we change this to a horizontal image, which is so simple because you've already got this. All you really need to do is get rid of these vertical pieces, save it as a new image, which is that. Make sure that you edit it and that these are spacing correctly. And once you do that, you might note what I'm doing there. You are good to go, and suddenly you'll have proper spacing. And ignore the blue there. All right, that's it, guys.